Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena Fantasy Series discussion portal. I'm your host Expat, along with my co-host Burley, and we're going to be talking about the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, the season finale. We're going to be talking about that in this episode, but before we get into it, this is your spoiler warning. Of course, we're going to be talking spoilers throughout the episode, this breakdown and discussion episode of the Rings of Power. The final episode. So if you have not watched the episode yet, please go and watch it before coming back and enjoying this video. So with that said, Burley, it's time to talk about the season finale. So yeah, a lot of fireworks in this one, as we were talking about last week. So yeah,
Oh
first,
yeah,
of course, we get the conundrum that they have over what to make, how small or how big it should be, and the mithril, and you know it doesn't like other kinds of elements, it seems. And so obviously, Galadriel gets back with Halbrand, and he is, of course, taken care of by the elven medicine and all. But yeah, the king, he doesn't seem to want to listen. He wants to get all of his people out of there and go back to Linden, I think. uh,
yes. So
so
he he
yeah, go
he,
ahead,
he
man.
he's
Hmm.
he's a little like he's mad because as they were, Halbrand had talked with their crafter there and about this and saying, why don't you use other material? You mix it in. If you mix it right, you could get a better product, and if you do it right, that he says this kind of stuff to the king and says, and the king's like, "What? You told him about this? No, no, no!
Hmm.
Shut this down." And you can even see in those moments because you've got the king, Elrond, the crafter, and Galadriel there, and Galadriel's even she's picking up on a few things, and like after that scene, she talks to him and be like, "Who told you to say this?"
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, these are my words,"
right.
and he's kind of doubting himself, and she's like, "Hmm." I don't like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's starting to pick up on Halbrand, that's for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So but yeah, but the architect seemed to like what he was saying, though. I mean, yeah.
yeah.
So
Architect, I call him the crafter.
the crafter, okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's the reason why I call him the architect was because earlier in the season, obviously, he's talking about building those towers. You
yeah,
know, so all right. So then we get obviously to yeah, the scenes here with the white witches, I guess you could call them, kind of like the dark witches,
yeah.
and they call the Meteor Man Sauron, which is interesting. They call him Sauron, but he's not really Sauron, is he?
Nope.
Yeah. And yeah, of course the Harfoot leader, he gets one in the gut, unfortunately, and
Yeah,
yeah, and but yeah, I mean, the Meteor Man, he starts to pick up on some things, and obviously, the girl gives him the staff, and then he takes care of these witches. I mean,
yeah.
that was pretty cool. I mean, the fight between them. What did you think of this?
I like this scene. Like I liked that what that the Harfoots come up and they see the Meteor Mankind and they see two of the people are there, but
Right.
one of them is gone. I like that. And then they're like, "Oh, this is our best chance. One of them's gone. The other two, if we can throw some stuff, distract them, we can
Yeah.
go and just untie them." And
Yeah.
then it gets revealed they knew the whole time the Harfoots were there
Yeah.
and set this trap.
Yeah.
And as you said, the leader gets a knife to the gut.
Yeah. 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 I don't know, man. I thought it was really cool, and then it's interesting how throughout this episode the Meteor Man learns how to speak. I mean, now
Yeah.
he's basically he can communicate and he's fluent and all. But yeah, so let's get back to of course Halbrand, obviously, and Galadriel. Gives a mission to one of the other elves to find out, about the Southlands and the history of the Southlands and the scrolls and everything. And in the episode, yeah, he finds the scroll and gives it to Galadriel, and she basically finds out that Halbrand isn't who he says he is. That the last king of the Southlands apparently had died like what 1,000 years before,
Yeah, the
or
line
something.
had ended
The
a
line had
thousand
ended.
years.
Yeah, and so obviously we get the reveal that Halbrand is really Sauron.
Told
Yeah.
you.
Yep. You did. And then of course he starts playing with her mind, and takes her back to the little raft, in the ocean there, and all. And then of course, you know, she tries to kill him there, but he's using his powers to stop her. And then of course she's thrown off the raft and she's drowning, and then obviously she wakes up, you know, kind of, like in the water there. But what did you think of these sequences, Burley? And of course the reveal of Halbrand actually being Sauron.
I like that. Like, she is asking him, like, who is your name? And he's like, you know who I am. And she knows, but she just doesn't want to say it. And I
Right.
love it. He's like, I can help save. He says, I'm on a mission of peace. I can help save them.
Yeah.
We could be king and queen together.
Right.
Which is
Right.
a little reference if you've watched the Fellowship of the Ring, when
Mm-hmm.
Frodo presents Galadriel the ring,
Mm-hmm.
and she touches it, and then all that, she says, I will be, she goes all dark for that moment, says, I will be your queen, all shall love me and fear and despair me.
Yeah.
I love
So
that. That
that's
was a little,
so that's referring back to this then. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little, I think it's a little Easter egg
Yeah.
just put in there just to do that.
Yeah. And we also get, of course, the Numenorians going back on the ship. Obviously, the Queen still being blind, and Elendil uh, helping her and talking with her. But then, as they get back to Numenor, it looks different. Yeah. What did
Yeah.
you think of that part, Burley? Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a moment to notice. I was like, "Hey, this looks different," but
Yeah.
I did like the conversations between him and the queen,
Yeah.
and he's saying like, "I am here for you," and she's like, "Yeah, that's nice and all, but what about you? You lost your son out there. Like, who is
Yeah.
there for you?"
Yeah. And we of course, Isildur. We don't know what happens to him yet. Of course, we'll see him again in season 2, most likely. Yeah, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, but the thing that was interesting though is that Isildur's sister obviously was petitioned to make a portrait of the old king, because they were going to make a structure of him, obviously. And then she's like, the king like gets up and is like telling her, you have to go find this particular thing. I forget what it was, but she goes into this like secret room, and then she pulls like a cloth off of what looked like a mirror or something, but we don't see exactly what that is.
it shows you in the object that it's covering. That's the
Yeah,
Palantir.
the
If you
Palantir.
remember
Okay, okay,
remember
yeah,
earlier, and
I
it's
see.
it's so yeah, he's making references to that.
To the
So
Palantir. So probably in season 2, we're going to get more along the line of what happens with that. So okay, and then of course we go back and the formation of the rings. Obviously, Galadriel, of course, when her mind was being manipulated by Sauron, she sees like her brother, but it's not her brother, obviously. But yeah, it gets to the point where they need like really exquisite gold and silver to be
yeah.
used, to be molded in to make these rings. And so she sacrifices her brother's uh, dagger, basically. What did you think of that?
I really like this. Like, she doesn't want, she's very conflicted here, because she knows if these things are created, Sauron wins. And
Mm-hmm.
if But she also doesn't want her people to leave, and she doesn't want her to forsake this land fully.
Yeah,
So what she does here, because they're originally going to make 2 rings, she says
right.
no, 3,
Yeah,
because 2 will always be unimbalanced. 3, we can keep it balanced.
right, right.
So I really like that moment, and then for her to give up the dagger there, that
Yeah.
was just such a huge moment.
And as she also says too, these 3 rings cannot fall out of elven hands. They can only be with the elves. these
Yeah.
three rings. Yeah. And so obviously you see the mold there, and then of course we get the three rings, obviously.
Yeah.
So who is going to hold on to these rings, Burley?
Well, Galadriel is one.
Yep.
Elrond is another.
Yep.
And the third one, where the craftsman, the architect,
Yeah.
originally the king. Originally it was going to
Right.
be the king, but I
The
think they've
king. Yeah.
given it to him
Yeah. Yeah.
since he did help create them.
Right. Right. Yeah. And then we get to the end of the episode, obviously, and the Meteor Man, obviously, and Burley. I just have to say this: I really think he's Gandalf. I
Yeah,
think,
they're really pushing the vibes that he's Gandalf. Yeah,
yeah, I think he's gonna end up being Gandalf, and obviously he's looks like. Where is he heading to? I mean, because obviously we see here at the end, uh, you know, the girl is leaving her family, and she's going
yeah.
to go with him on this adventure. So where are they journeying to? I'm sorry, excuse me. It looks
Yeah.
like he wants to go to where the wizards are, supposedly to find out more about himself. But yeah, where in the world of Middle Earth are they heading towards?
So this I'm not 100% sure. I would imagine around Isengard because they had the one that was where Saruman's tower is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I imagine that's where they would want to go because like they do meet up in there in the books and stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
would, I that would be my best guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, of course, obviously, she's going to go with him. So, and that ended the episode and the end of the season. So, I mean, Burley, what do you think we're going to? So, looking ahead to season two, obviously, some of the characters have started filming already for season two, but some haven't. Actually, the Meteor Man, the actor, says he hasn't started filming his scenes yet, I think. But probably we're not going to get season two until maybe 2024. But anyway, what do you think they're going to focus on in season two when it does arrive?
We're obviously the one thing we didn't talk from the first end of the first season is you see Sauron come to Mordor.
That's correct.
So
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. You see Sauron walking into Mordor. And we did not see, for example, Arendir. Uh,
Adar,
Arendir, the other elf in the
yeah,
Southlands. We did not see them in the
hmm
final episode as well. So,
oh yeah,
yeah. So, because they were making their journey as well, I guess, with the other, the Numenorian guard that was left behind. But
yeah.
yeah. So, but anyway, season two. I mean, what do you think we're going to get?
We're gonna get the conflict in Middle Earth with Sauron there, and have him taking over. But we've now got the Elven rings, so
Yeah.
we got 5 for the dwarves. We still got to make
Mhm.
9, and we still got to get the race of men their rings. But that's gonna be a long time. I think that'll be later in the show. I
Right.
think so. We'll get more stuff with the dwarves and with uh Durin taking over, the son
Yeah.
taking over.
Right.
I think that'll be at the end of season 2. He'll take over.
Right. Right.
Um, we'll get we'll get the reveal. I'm sure of that. It is Meteor Man is Gandalf.
Mhm.
We'll get that.
Yeah.
We'll get the showing how the elves have changed now with
Mhm.
the 3 great rings they have,
Yeah.
and hopefully and seeing them prepare, and then seeing the fallout with Numenor and with the queen coming back blind. I'm sure the father is not, as you can tell, he's on death's door. He's like
Yeah.
Viserys. He ain't gonna last too long in season 2. So
Yeah. Well, it looked like he was dead already in
yeah,
that final scene that they showed of him there. Yeah, on
yeah.
the bed. So yeah, so exciting stuff, and yeah, it was a cool season, and we're looking forward to season two whenever it comes out. So this has been our season finale breakdown and discussion of Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host Burley. We hope to catch you in the next season when we do, of course, the Rings of Power Season 2, our breakdown and discussions of those when they come out. And of course, we also do the House of the Dragon episodes. So we hope you join us for those as well. And please leave us some comments. What did you think of the season overall? And what did you think of the final episode? We'd really like to hear from you in the comments. And if you like this video, please hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell for when we drop a new video here on the Arena Productions. We really appreciate it. So thank you all so much, and we hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Peace out.